Good evening and happy New Year. Welcome to the 2023 reorganization meeting of the Ridgefield Park Board of Education. The meeting is officially called to order at 6:05. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I ask you to kindly rise. I'm now going to take the roll for the existing board. Mr. Feitros? Mr. Gibbons?
Here.
Mr. Gomes?
Here.
Mrs. McNeil? Here. Dr. Martinez?
Here.
Mrs. Orth? Here. Mrs. Rodriguez? Here. Mr. Verselli? Mr. Cathcart?
Here.
And President Fernandez.
Here.
At this time, I'm going to read the Open Public Meetings Law. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interests is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Ridgefield Park Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted in the Bergen Record, Star Ledger, Municipal Building, Board of Education offices, and district website. Public participation instructions. Public participation will be conducted both in person and virtually through Zoom. All public will be muted throughout the meeting. Public participation comments are limited to, I think it's 5. Is it 5? Yeah, 5 minutes, it says there. 5 minutes. The public will be able to both speak and be seen by the board when participating virtually or telephonically via Zoom. Individuals participating virtually that wish to make comments during public participation will need to raise their hand by clicking the blue hand icon at the bottom of their Zoom window. Individuals participating by telephone that wish to make comments during public participation will need to hit *9 on their telephone to raise their hand. The Business Administrator Board Secretary will then unmute individuals one at a time to speak in the order that their hand was raised. I'd like to take this time to read the election results from the election that was held on November 8th in the District of Ridgefield Park, Bergen County, pursuant to notice given in accordance with school law. The annual election results held on November 8th. We have 3 new board members, Mr. Brian Cooney, Ms. Jody Kraft, and Ms. Carolina Velez. They were each elected for 3-year terms. The votes were as followed. Mr. Cooney, 1,528 votes. Ms. Kraft, 1,386 votes. And Ms. Velez, 1,532 votes. I now have the pleasure of swearing in our new board members. I ask that you kindly stand, raise your right hand, and repeat after me. Please raise your right hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear or affirm that I possess the qualifications prescribed by law for the oath of member of a Board of Education, am not disqualified as a voter pursuant to RS 19:4-1. And that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of that office according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations and welcome to the Ridgefield Park Board of Ed. Now I am going to take a vote of the new Board of Education. Mr. Cathcart? I know he's here. Yeah, maybe he's. Mr. Cooney?
Present.
Ms. Kraft?
Here.
Mr. Phytros? Mr. Gomes?
Here.
Mrs. McNeil?
Here.
Dr. Martinez?
Here.
Mrs. Orth?
Here.
Mrs. Rodriguez?
Here.
And Ms. Velez,
Here.
all present. I do want to say that Little Ferry's reorganization meeting is tomorrow, so until we know for sure who the Little Ferry rep is, Mr. Phytros will be sitting on the board until we, if and when we have a new Little Ferry rep. Okay, moving on. One of the duties of the Board of Education is to elect a president and a vice president. I am going to open up nominations for president. No seconds are needed.
I would like to nominate Dr. Ricardo Martinez for president.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none, I'll take the vote. Mr. Cathcart?
Yes.
Mr. Cooney?
Yes.
Ms. Kraft?
Yes.
Mr. Phytros? Mr. Gomes?
Yes.
Mrs. McNeil?
Yes.
Dr. Martinez?
Yes.
Mrs. Orth?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez?
Yes.
And Ms. Velez?
Yes.
Okay, the vote is unanimous. Congratulations, Dr. Martinez. I am now going to turn the meeting over to our new board president.
At this time, I would like to accept nominations for vice president.
I would like to nominate Michelle Orth for vice president.
Are there any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Dave Cathcart for vice president.
No, thank you.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, I'm going to take the roll call. Mr. Cathcart?
Yes, for Michelle.
Mr. Cooney?
Yes, for Michelle.
Ms. Kraft?
Yes, for Michelle.
Mr. Phytros? Mr. Gomes?
Yes, Ms. Orth.
Mrs. McNeil?
Yes, for trustee Orth.
Dr. Martinez?
Yes, for Orth.
Mrs. Orth?
Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez?
Yes, for trustee Orth.
And Ms. Velez?
Yes, for Ms. Orth.
Okay, the vote is unanimous. Congratulations, Ms. Orth.
Before we open up for citizens' comments, I just want to make a brief statement. I just want to thank the outgoing board members. As I've said before, the job up here is not easy. I probably don't know what I'm getting myself into now, but this is a very difficult job. It's a job that's done volunteer, and you really take the hits. And so I want to thank the outgoing board members for all the time, many countless hours that are spent working behind the scenes and also up here. I also wanted to say that it's with great humility that I would like to thank the Richfield Park community and now my fellow board members for entrusting me with this role. Although I'm very nervous about doing well in this position, I'm also comforted by the highly skilled, experienced, and strong individuals on this board who I know will be uniformly focused on doing what's best for the district. This is what I will continue to expect from each of them and from the administration, and this is what we should demand of each other. Having been on the board now 4.5 years, I believe all of us want from this board more respect, transparency, honesty, thoughtfulness, long-range planning, and above all, that all decisions that are made come from the quality of our children's education at the forefront. We'll be working to earn your trust in these positions. Your job, as always, and I've always said this since I got on the board, is to continue voting thoughtfully, staying engaged by attending meetings, and holding the staff and us accountable as we all work for you. Again, thank you, and I look forward to the hard work and the good things ahead. And unless we have any other comments or observations from the board, let's please open up citizens' comments portion of tonight's meeting. Ms. Rodriguez, could you please the statement?
Good evening. Before we begin public comment, I want to remind everyone that we believe it is crucial to hear from our community members about their concerns and issues. The board is here to listen. However, the public comment period is not designed to be a discussion. Accordingly, the board may respond to easier questions tonight or may not respond to questions tonight, depending on the level of research needed to answer the question. This is because we take your concerns and questions seriously and want to have sufficient time to process and research issues. If need be, we will, however, expect that Dr. Haynes or the relevant staff members get back to you. I also want to point out that under state and federal privacy laws, the board is unable to respond to comments related to school personnel or students, or those that involve pending litigation. Please know, however, that we take personal and student concerns very seriously. On these matters, we would ask you to go through the appropriate administrative channels, such as your school principal, the administrator in charge of the department, or Dr. Haynes. We want our school board meetings to serve as an example to our students that members of our school board and members of our community can deal with controversial issues in a civil manner and demonstrate mutual respect for one another. In that spirit, we will insist that all speakers and members of the audience address their comments to the board president directly rather than the audience. Finally, I want to remind everyone that the board and administration is reachable by emails listed on the website. For today's meeting, there will be one public comment session. There is a sign-up sheet on the podium. We'll call your name in order that you signed in. Each member of the public will have 5 minutes to speak during each comment period. Time cannot be transferred to other individuals. The public comment period will be 1 hour for on-agenda items. The board will now entertain public comments. Please remember to state your name, Richfield Park mailing address, and to keep your comments brief to allow sufficient time for other members of the public to speak if they wish. Thank you for your cooperation and support.
Ms. Ramos?
Good evening, Christina Ramos, 382 Teaneck Road. I'm going to try not to smile too much. Now I can't find my glasses. Oh, darn it. Oh, no, I know where they are. No, found them. I'm sorry. This is going to be mostly directed to our new state monitor. I'm glad that you're here tonight, Mr. Egan, because I have some words for you. I recently wrote quite a few emails to the Director of State Monitor, Scott Henry, who I'm sure you're aware of. And in his response to one of my emails, he wrote this: one of the duties of the state monitor is to provide guidance and advice to the Board of Education on matters of board governance. Mr. Egan is currently working with the board and the acting superintendent to improve the relationship between the two and the functions of the board. State monitors provide advice and guidance the ultimate decision-making authority rests with the board. However, state monitors do have the authority to overturn decisions by the board that may negatively affect the financial conditions of the district. Understood. I can assure you that Mr. Egan's actions are to ensure the fiscal stability of Richfield Park Schools, not to further any perceived agenda to force Richfield Park to merge with Little Ferry Board of Education. My questions are, how is our pre-K negatively affecting the financial condition of the district? This program was brought to life from the ground up by Ms. Demon, a Richfield Park employee, with grants she worked on and receives from the state. None of our budgeted district money has been used towards the pre-K program. Ms. Grabstein, can you confirm this is correct? Can you confirm that any funds that have been used for the pre-K program has not come out of our own district budget?
That's not exactly true. No, there have been expenditures that have come out of the general fund.
Although we were told by Mr. Haynes that it hasn't, that everything was being covered by the pre-K grants that we received several times, correct? Yes or no, that's all. Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Moving on. If the ultimate decision making rests with the board, as your boss, Mr. Henry, mentions in his email, why did you, Mr. Egan, overturn the board decision to table resolution 1306 for the shared service agreement / reduction in force resolution? The board decided to table the resolution because they didn't have any or little information on what is happening. Don't you think the board should be fully informed of what you are planning for our district before you are striking deals in Little Ferry? Isn't this why they were elected to serve on the board? Was to be informed about the decisions that are being made in the best interest of our district? How is a shared service agreement with Little Ferry benefiting Richfield Park students and taxpayers? If you are here to ensure the fiscal stability of Richfield Park, not Little Ferry, why aren't you diligently working on the progress of ensuring that Little Ferry pays us the $1 million they owe us in back tuition? Why are you recommending that our pre-K program be shared service with Little Ferry? Little Ferry is a district who only has input in decision-making for grades 9 through 12 only. Diane Thiemann, who was the assistant director of our new pre-K program, was the one who built the program from the ground up and secured all the PEA grant money we have received so far and will be receiving for the future of this program. We started off by receiving $250,000 for one class for the 2022-2023 school year, and now we will be receiving $1 million for the 2023-2024 school year for 4 classrooms. We have all secured a location in town. We have also secured a location in town with the co-op daycare, where the program has been running since it was created. If this is a program that was created with grant money sent to us by the state, then how is the decision to share services with Little Ferry benefiting us financially if we weren't using money from the district budget to begin with? Why would we put something we created and got off the ground into the hands of Little Ferry? Why should Little Ferry benefit from Richfield Park's grant money when they owe us over $1 million in tuition?
Ms. Ramos?
How is this bad business deal going to affect our relationship with the co-op moving forward?
Ms.
Do you
Ramos?
still have plans to work with the co-op, or are you going to destroy them and bring them down as you have done with Ms. Demon?
Ms. Ramos,
That might be
I
the
think
5 minutes.
I think the state monitor was poised to answer some of those questions. I don't know if,
I will, but I'm asking,
This is
just have
so
a
off the
brief
record.
1 minute to finish up in conclusion. We may not have your power to overturn your bad decisions, but as a community, we can work together and get you removed. Our district has been financially stable for the past couple of years. Therefore, I think the time has come to remove the need of a state monitor here in our district. We have been financially
Ms. Ramos,
stable for the
with all due
past couple of
respect.
years under the supervision of our last state monitor, Mr. Wayne Demikoff.
Ms.
We
Ramos,
won't allow you to come in and destroy years of his hard work. Members of this community, it's time we start writing letters. Mr. Egan's days here are numbered. We will no longer allow Mr. Egan or the group he is connected to continue
Ms.
to hold our
Ramos,
district hostage. Thank you.
Ms. Ramos, if I could just ask that, we have other people who want to speak tonight. And we've been very generous. In fact, we've spoken about 5 minutes, very generous. No other district does this.
I appreciate it. I just had a lot to say since he was out the last time and I got it out, but I appreciate it.
it's-
I understand other people have.
You
to
asked a lot
speak.
of questions. I think they'd be best in the email so that maybe the state monitor can answer some of them.
And I'm most likely not gonna get any, but I do want him to hear it personally from me and for the public to hear and the community to hear so they can know what's happening.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully he does respond to the community in this public forum that we are in.
Thank you. Ms. Malou, please.
Janet Malul, 163 East Grand. First, I'd like to welcome our new board members. I am thinking very positively that maybe we can move on from where we were into a much better place over the next 3 years or whatever. I too have questions or comments regarding the removal of Ms. Thiemann from her position by Mr. Egan. He was not in attendance at that last meeting, and I totally can understand that. The board at the time felt that this board should be the ones making the decisions. And it would also give them more time to come up with whether this was a good idea, bad idea, whatever. To have Mr. Egan make a decision that affects this community without hearing what the new board's feelings were. They may have been in agreement, they may not have been, but you guys deserved the right to be able to discuss and speak this out openly with him. The other thing is he did not hear what the public felt. And I'm really hoping that we are at a point where the public's voice counts. I can see from the people that we have on the board that I truly believe it will, or for most of you, it will. But to have a person removed without hearing what the community and your own board wants is, to me, unfair. The other thing is you talk about physical responsibility, and I have to kind of laugh because the comment that Christina read that she got from the director of monitors, Mr. Henry, was actually the same response I got. So I guess that's his stock answer to us. If we're talking about fiscally being responsible, then one, why have you still not pushed, at least in privacy, with the acting superintendent, that maybe, and the board members, that maybe this is the time to stop the nonsense and bring back Dr. Bender as superintendent to finish out whatever she's got left on her contract, instead of wasting our money, because that's what we're doing right now. The fact that I don't know if you're aware of, but with the new grant, it evidently will cover Diane Thiemann's position. So there again, I don't see where we're wasting money if she stays in that position. So now it's my understanding that she's back in the classroom. Did she bump somebody out? I don't think so. This seems to be a position that the district was forced into doing because she is entitled to a teaching position. So now we're paying an extra salary on top of what we wouldn't be doing. So I really don't understand where all this is coming from unless we have politics at play again. And if that's the case, then It can't continue this way. We have the opportunity for a fresh start in this community. And honestly, this public is tired of the politics and the antics. And we're going to make a change. Dr. Haynes, it's my understanding that you've been interviewing and you're looking at jobs in other locations. And I give you a lot of credit for that. Why not? Because at some point, things will change. You won't be in this position. So you deserve to go look for something else. But why are you not, or I should put it this way, why do you appear to be blocking everything along the way? I just don't get it. So as I said, moving forward, I, for one, don't want to be the person that spearheads airing what I'll call our dirty laundry in public. But people are of the mindset now, I believe, in this community, that if things don't change, then you're going to see it in the newspapers. And that's the last thing we want to see. And I know my time is up. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Mr. Santos?
Susan DeSantis, 15 Homestead Place. First of all, I would like to congratulate Jody and Brian and Carol. It's been 2 years to get to the board to this position. And I'm very happy about that. Congratulations to Ricardo and Michelle. It would have been my choice for the positions. My first thing is I would like to see the board go back and revise the policy of the public and let them speak. Long nights do not happen that often. It's usually when there's really problems in the district, which you've experienced for the past year. Normally, it just goes very quickly, and sometimes, it should go back to the way it was, and maybe you could revise it back to letting the public speak their piece and answer questions from the public. I would like to go back to the resolution on the preschool. In the resolution, it says, this is basically because of high property taxes paid to the state of New Jersey, more economical for reasons of the economy. And really, this was just done under the guise of getting rid of Diane Thiemann, which is exactly what was predicted when you obliterated her job as middle school principal, which is very needed in this district. You wanted to get her out of it. You stuck her in this district, in this for a few months, which we said you were going to do this, and that's exactly what you've done. This certainly is not an economical savings. You've created a new BSI position and put her in it, which did not exist before. So it's not based on tax relief. Also, Little Ferry on their agenda, they created a position to fill for a position where most of the students that are in the pre-K belong to Richfield Park. And now we're going to hire somebody from Little Ferry to run basically what is our program for a program they don't even have. Also, the contract that was put forth was not put out to the public, so we don't even know what's in it. And I think that the only thing you've done is really create the nail in the coffin on the suit that already exists from Ms. Thiemann. You really, this is obviously vindictive and retribution. And I think that, I think it should be changed and she should be put back in the position that, she was riffed for in the beginning. And thank you.
Thank you. Mr. DeSantis?
Ed DeSantis, 15 Homestead Place. I'm going to be brief. First thing I'd like to do is congratulate Carol, Jody, and Brian. It is so exciting to have you back and to have you here. I have a new sense of excitement that this will be a better year, and I wish all of you, the whole board, the best of luck in the coming year. I do want to comment, Mr. Regan, on Diane Thiemann. I do believe wholeheartedly that she's worked very hard for two positions. To me, the most important one was the the middle school principal, long needed, and certainly the other one was, and she worked just as hard at both. She's been here a long time. I don't think that decision should have been made without the new board sitting and getting the whole picture. So that's my only comment on that. You don't need to respond. I wish you all luck. Looking forward to a good 2023. I have a lot of faith in you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeSantis. Ms. Pasek?
Good evening, Lori Pasiak, 15 Webster Street. I'd like to welcome the new board members. I'm hoping that everything gets better. I am losing confidence, but the three of you make me a little more confident. Congratulations, President Martinez and Vice President, or I'm sorry, I missed your last name, but congratulations. Mr. Egan, when we first heard you speak to us on the teleprompter, not last meeting, but a meeting before that, you said you wanted to meet with the public and start a dialogue. And then you totally disregarded the public and made a decision without the board. To the board, you have an attorney. You can fight this in court if you wanted to. The question is, do you have the backbone to do it? That's the question. I was going to say a lot more, but I think everyone has said everything that needed to be said about Diane Thiemann's position and how fiscally irresponsible the decision is. And I believe, Dr. Haynes, you know, I can't wait for June 30th to see you go. And good luck to the board. I will be at every meeting. I'm dropping some of my volunteer responsibilities so I don't take my eyes off this ball. I'll be here. I know I'm looking right at President Martinez. He understands what I'm saying. Thank you very much.
Carolina Fernandez?
Hi, Carola Fernandez, 33 College Place. I think all of us are dropping a lot of what we're doing, not only volunteer work responsibilities, leaving work early, leaving children with people that, you know, obviously that we know, but nothing that's scheduled. The first time I came was last month, and I'm going to try to continue coming. I'm not making any promises, but what I do know is that my taxes went up, and I just got a notice last week, and my taxes went up another $900. So I worked with Mrs. Thiemann at the middle school. I've worked with Mrs. Thiemann because I have a child at the co-op, and she's absolutely great. She has done everything from A to Z. I think the high school is falling apart without her being there at the middle school. She provides a great support, and I don't think Ms. Cavins can handle the entire high school from 7 to 12. That's just my opinion. And I'm very upset, just like everyone else. And I think Dr. Mendez should be brought back. and Mrs. Seaman should either remain there or go back to the middle school. Have a good night.
Thank you. Ms. Orth, do you have the list? I think the next person up was the director of the co-op. I can't pronounce your name yet.
Good evening. My name is Amra Kolenovic. I'm 111 Paulson. I am the director at the co-op. And I just heard Ms. Grabstein say something that the district actually put money out for the co-op. I just want to clarify, unless there's money that I'm unaware of, the district did not dish out any money in support of the co-op. In fact, in September, we called Kaplan and we received all of our furniture and whatever we needed for the classroom. I ordered our curriculum. So I just want her to clarify what she means by what money the district dished out for us, because I look at that budget every single day. I make sure my teachers get paid, my aide get paid. I finally get to get paid. And so can you just clarify what money the district spent for us? Because I'm unaware of that money unless that's includes an extra $235,000. Like the grant was for $235,920. Is that correct?
So I'll go ahead and answer this on behalf of the administration of the district. Yes, that money, you are absolutely right with that money. And that money does pay for everything at the co-op. Whenever I've answered this question in the past, I've always been very clear. The grant pays for everything at the co-op. I think what the public is asking for is about Ms. Thieman's salary, which was never said. Okay, so it's everything at the co-op.
So from what I understand, the grant that we got written and got approved of for next year will cover Ms. Thieman's salary, not this grant, not for this year. Is that wrong or is that correct?
That's something that was never stated in public.
Okay. I'm sorry. So I just wanted to clarify to the public that the district did not give any money to us from the district budget. I go in every month to Ms. Grabstein's office and I collect my check and I deposit it and I make my bills. So can you just, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to clarify that to the public.
Can I,
Go ahead.
Just to be clear, the co-op expenses are covered by the grant. The director's salary was not covered by the grant. That was coming out of district funds. Okay,
Wait, Ms. Thieman as,
correct.
oh, okay. Because I have my role as director too, but
Sorry,
that's
I'm
coming
sorry.
out of the
The
grant.
director on the board side is covered
Understood.
by district funds.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to say and clarify to the public. So
Thank you.
that's it.
Melissa Danino? I think it's Danino.
Melissa Danilo, 50 Christie Street. First off, I just wanted to congratulate all the new board members. Congratulations on your new role. I do hope that there is a change. I do want to start with saying that unfortunately, I don't have much faith in the district, not you personally. And because of that, I, as a single mother with one income household and 2 children, am trying to push for my child to get out of the district and go to a private school where I will be accumulating more bills because unfortunately, nothing that we ever say is heard. It's sad and unfortunate that this is continuing to go on. And I really do hope that you're able to clean up the mess that has, followed you. Dr. Haynes, I know you know how I feel about you, and I know everybody else has given their opinions and their matters. I just want to say, I have this really long speech and I'm just going to ad lib. I don't understand the fiscal responsibility that you're stating is present by removing Ms. Thieman from the position that she's in. and putting her in a position that didn't exist yet again. It's the second time. You keep on doing it. You keep on not listening. You keep on overturning. I don't really know what else to say. I also do want to point out that the Kaplan grant, I'm very familiar with because my family member was the one that actually issued the funds to Richfield Park. So I would appreciate it if the lies would stop because the public will find out eventually. And I really do hope you find a position that is better suited for you because it is not in this district. Thank you again for listening. And again, congratulations to all of you who have gotten into this position.
Thank you. Donna Duran.
Good evening, Donna Duran, 16 Sabina Street, Little Ferry. Congratulations to the new board members. Good luck. I just have a quick question. Being that the Little Ferry lawsuit was brought up tonight, as per certain citizens, has there been any movement from the judge on the lawsuit?
Mr. Disler.
I was gonna say, if you want me to step in, so as it is pending litigation, we tend not to comment on it. The case is proceeding in a normal fashion, but because it's pending litigation, I don't feel that we can comment presently, but it is proceeding.
Oh, so I just want to make it perfectly clear. There has been movement and it is proceeding. You can answer me that, yes or no?
I can answer you that it is a case that's presently pending and the matter is proceeding normally. Yes. If that's,
So
I don't want to put word in my mouth, but yes.
Yes, so there is movement. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Ramirez.
Hello, good evening. Sharon Ramirez, 205 Overpick. So once again, congratulations to the new board members and the continuing board members. Let's hope that there's some change that will happen. When Mrs. Thiemann was going to be removed from the middle school position, and I came here to talk, I've been an early childhood educator for 23 years. I discussed the importance of keeping that middle school position as opposed to having this early childhood director position. And now we're back in the situation where we've removed her. So we've removed everything that you've said to us, that the importance of this position. Being on the committee, the pre-K committee, I was firsthand witness to all the work that Diane Thiemann has put into getting this grant. And as I understand, it's correct, we were the only one in Bergen County to receive this grant for next year. The only town in Bergen County. I had an extensive conversation with Mr. Delicio, the superintendent of Bergen County for education. And we had a long conversation about the pre-K program. The UPK that I'm familiar with is that UPK is open to all districts. However, he informed me that that is not the case for this specific grant. This specific grant would only be for Richfield Park children, which is why when the grant was created and we used the co-op, we had to, certain children were not allowed to stay in the program because they did not reside in town. So how does it make sense that we are putting somebody from Little Ferry in charge of a Richfield Park program where only Richfield Park children can attend? And if we wanted to do a shared service, why isn't Mrs. Thiemann a part of a Richfield Park Little Ferry shared service? It's really sad that we're not being heard, and that's not a direction to the board because the board heard us last week. And obviously we're not being heard by the person who's supposed to oversee and protect us. The teacher position that was created for Mrs. Thiemann doesn't make any sense that we're being fiscally responsible. If we wanted to create a position for her, why not just put her back into the middle school, the middle school principal position, which is where we wanted her anyway. This is where she's needed. 7th through 8th graders deserve her. They deserve her. They are lost without her. Quite honestly, I have a 7th grader, I have a 9th grader, and I have an 11th grader. And I've stated profusely at meetings that when my 11th grader was in 7th grade, he was lost. When my 9th grader had Mrs. Thiemann, she wasn't. and we needed her. The parents needed her. Those children are not ready to be high school kids at 7th grade. 7th graders are not the same as seniors. So why not just put her back in that position where we all wanted her? Right now, there's nobody in charge of this early childhood program. Mrs. Thiemann was there and now she's gone. So what happens to the grant? What happens to that funding? That funding can be pulled from us. And then where are we left? Oh, we're left with Little Ferry in charge of no program. Mrs. Thiemann was trained for this position. As we've seen throughout this district, her as an educator, a principal, a director, she has excelled in all those positions, yet we keep pushing her out. So what does that show the teachers in this district? If I were a teacher in this district, I'd feel like, well, if I did a great job, they're going to try to push me out. Maybe it is because she's a woman or that she's liked. And that's really upsetting that as a woman and an educator, what's happening to Mrs. Thiemann. The whole community online here stand behind her. And that seems from the person who's looking out for us doesn't care. Mrs. Thiemann has filed a lawsuit, along with a lot of other lawsuits that this district has occurred, that she stated she was wrongfully removed from her middle school position. She has continued to be targeted by our acting superintendent, Dr. Barry Haynes. This most recent decision to send her back to being a teacher is just another example of further retaliation and makes it confirmed why she's being removed from all these positions. She will win this lawsuit. Our taxes are going to suffer for that. This is a whistleblower lawsuit, and we know all these cases are settled in favor of the victim. Again, how is this financially and fiscally sound for our district? I don't understand why the state monitor decided to make this decision, but again, this is how Richfield Park's been doing their financial business. We just don't care about the taxpayer. My taxes keep going up and up and up and up and up every year when we specifically moved to this town for the school. And again, I will state it again 100%. The teachers and educators in this district are fantastic. I have no problem with that, with the education that my children are getting. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Tadros?
Hello, good evening. David Tadros, high school teacher, wood shop teacher. Just a shop teacher. President of the RPA also. Congratulations to the incoming board members. Good luck. Congratulations to Dr. Martinez and Ms. Zorth. We're looking forward to working with you guys. We're looking forward to working and negotiating a fair contract and settlement for everybody. I want to thank Ms. Ramirez for her nice comments about the teachers. They're fine teachers. We do have one of the best teachers in the state. I feel that strongly, and they do their jobs every day and work very hard. Again, congratulations and looking forward to working with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Ms. Izquierdo.
Good evening. Welcome, new board. Congratulations. Gina Izquierdo, 2 Webster Street. I don't come to these meetings often. I just started to become more part of the community. I have 2 boys, one at Lincoln, one here at the high school. He's a 9th grader. I'm going to piggyback off one of the moms said about the 7th graders needing someone here. They come in, no one says hello to them. Good morning, how are you? No one knows their names. They're just coming in. They're going to class. They don't know where they need to be. They don't know who to speak to. My 9th grader suffered this year since the beginning of school year. He's a freshman. Things change for freshmen. If I had not had Ms. Thiemann's phone number to reach out to her to contact my son, I wouldn't be standing here. I don't know where my son would be right now. He's suffering. But she went out of her way. She spoke to him. And I'm so grateful for her. And we need more teachers board members to be open to our children. At the end of the day, this is for our children, the community. I don't want to live in the Bronx that I have to worry, because when we disconnect, guess what? So do the kids. We're gonna have hangouts, we're gonna have gangs, we're gonna have multitude of issues. But once they know they can go to their coach, their teachers, their principals, the social worker, we have open doors, open arms, they will come to us. Right now, they're lost. Now, on top of that, you take her away from 3 and 4-year-olds. They come back from vacation and she's gone. So you have a 9th grader crying, 7th grader crying, Miss Thiemann, we need her. She comes to basketball games, volleyball games. She's always present. We need her here. My little one, Lincoln, Mommy, is Miss Thiemann gonna be there when I get to 7th grade? Because that school is so big. I go, I hope so. So please, we need to reconsider this once again. We need her back in the middle school. We have parents that have passed away in this community. And not once did my son say, you know, we had a forum, we talked about it, or, you know, the principal came around and we talked about it and, you know, I'm worried. No, there's no talk. Everybody just goes on with life. We just came back from COVID. Where's the compassion? You take her out of one position, put her in another position, and then she's a teacher? How does that look to the students and to our town? I'm so hurt. I never thought that I'd have to stand up here choked up because at the end of the day, yeah, it's money, this and that. These children are growing up. These children are our future, and we're doing a disservice to them because they see what's going on. They hear us at home. No matter how, go to your room, they're still listening. It is not good. We need to do something. I don't know you, Mr. Haynes, and I'm really sorry to say all I've heard is the worst things about you and how you've changed this community. Why? What's the whole vendetta? What is going on? It's almost like you're being a bully. You're picking on a person that has been in this community, that is recognized. Why? I'm sure you have your reasons, but not enough. It's not good enough. You just got here. Dr. Bender, I don't know her. Wonderful things about her. Why is she not here? Tell me what the problem is. Because if I have to lose my 14-year-old because of this nonsense, that's really sad. Shame on you.
Thank you. Do you have anybody to elevate online? I'm sorry, do we have anybody to elevate online? The acting superintendent would like to make 2 brief announcements.
So there are 2 brief announcements that I think need to come to the attention of the learning community, both in person and online. One of the things that we've been dealing with as a community over the past, well, if you've lived in the community ever since you were born or raised in this community, are the fields. The fields are set to get a huge refurbishment. And tomorrow night, January 5th, the town hall, there will be a presentation by MKW Associates and Boswell Engineering with Mrs. Wanda Porter-Rial. She will be presenting open public town hall meeting, and any trustees, board members, I would strongly encourage to attend because this is your best opportunity to demonstrate your voice in what happens to the fields that our kids use every day. It's important that you show up with your voice. I put a design file into tonight's public agenda. So if you go to 7.01 and scroll down, you will see the design that Boswell Engineering is proposing for the refurbishment of these fields. And again, I'll be there. I'd encourage everybody in this community to be there because that's the best way you can have an impact on our fields moving forward. Please show up. Number 2.
And what time is the meeting?
That I have to check with the town. I did not get a confirmation from Mrs. Porter-Rial. Is it 7? Does somebody, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ms. Kraft. 7 PM. Ms. Kraft, can you actually, Ms. Kraft, can you go ahead and confirm the time and location?
I know the time. I'll double check the location.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay. And from the Environmental Commission, Happy New Year. This Saturday, they'll be doing another planting at the Environmental Commission. The Nature Preserve greatly benefits this high school, and it's just over there. So this Saturday from 9 AM till noon, if you want to show up with iron rakes and cultivators, wear work clothes, you're going to get dirty, dress warmly. Gloves and goggles are encouraged, and please show up to help them plant more for the Nature Preserve. Again, I see that being used as wonderful, engaging, hands-on science activities for our high school students. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to move us to adoption of our code of ethics. The members of the Board of Education recognize that they hold authority not as individuals, but as members of the board. In order to make a clear public statement of its philosophy of service to the pupils of the district, the board adopts this code of ethics. Traditionally, we will each read one of these standards. Do we have any volunteers?
I'll start.
Please.
I will make decisions in terms of educational welfare of children and will seek to develop and maintain public schools which meet the individual needs of all children regardless of their ability, race, creed, sex, or social standing.
I will
I will confine my board action to policymaking, planning, and appraisal, and I will help to frame policies and plans only after the board has consulted those who would be affected by them.
I will recognize that authority rests with the Board of Education and will make no personal promises nor take any private action that may compromise the board.
I will refuse to surrender my independent judgment to special interest or partisan political groups, or to use the schools for personal gain or for the gain of friends.
I will hold confidential all matters pertaining to the schools which, if disclosed, would needlessly injure individuals, excuse me, or the schools. In all other matters, I will provide accurate information and, in concert with my fellow board members, interpret to the staff the aspirations of the community for its schools.
I will vote to appoint the best qualified personnel available after consideration of the recommendation of the Chief Administrative Officer.
I will support and protect school personnel in proper performance of their duties.
I will refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer and will act on the complaints at public meetings only after failure of an administrative solution. The board shall see that all members of the board receive training and understanding and adhering to this code of ethics and shall discuss it annually at regularly scheduled public meeting. Each member shall sign documentation that she or he has received a copy of it and has read it and understood it.
I'd like to move us to executive session. Oh, can I get a motion to move us to executive session?
I make a motion, we move into executive session.
A second.
Yes, that's it. Thank you for coming tonight and have a good night.